We are about to get soul-centered. Happy New Year! Welcome to our first stillness meditation of 2021. If you are tuning in right now, you are tuning in to our meditation service. Our service with our music and our message begins at 10:30 right now. We're getting ready to go into the stillness to stretch the muscles of meditation. If you are a seasoned or a beginner, you're in the right place. We're just going to go ahead and move into that place that we call stillness. There are varying forms, of course, of different types of meditations, whether it's mantras or movement or activations or visionings or inquiry, different types. This one, we're exercising the muscle of not thinking, no words, and of course, I will center us. Centering is what prepares you to have no thoughts and not have words in the surface mind. We're elevating to the higher mind consciousness, moving up to the observer, the witness, that we can observe what's going on, and then not only observe what's going on down here, but we're going to move to a higher awareness where we're observing the energy of the soul, we're observing the energy of the divine. That's what stillness meditation is all about. So again, I will center us. We will stay in the stillness for a short while, exercise that muscle, and then we'll come out in a wave of prayer. So good morning, Happy New Year, welcome, and remembering that meditation is part of transformation. And unless you are enlightened, then transformation is part of the journey. We're all here to transform. If you want to see a change in your life, from prosperity to more prosperity, from wellness to more wellness, whatever it is, meditation is mandatory for the transformation if you want the transformation to be beautiful and filled with grace and ease. So I'm going to welcome you to get comfortable, find a place to sit. I know some of you may be propped up in your beds, that's good too. And if you need to dim a light or close a door so that you can have a little bit more quiet, whatever feels right and good to you. I know most of you know the drill. And we're going to get ready to move into that space of grace, of peace, and communion with God. And we are ready to begin. As always, we begin by first giving ourselves permission to relax. Just saying to ourselves in our minds, I give myself permission to relax. As we invite, as we evoke, and as we allow the divine energies of peace and love, wellness and goodness, beauty and grace to wash over us and to rise up from within us. I invite you to join me with the intention that we are allowing ourselves to go deep and rise high in a clarity, in a stillness that surpasses human intellect. I invite you to join me with the intention that we are opening into a realm of omniscient wisdom and truth, rejuvenation and relaxation. And so I'm going to invite you to imagine as we begin to awaken into a completely relaxed state, an open state. I invite you to bring your awareness down to the base of your spine, to your tailbone, to your root. I'm going to invite you to, without changing anything, but imagining that you're inhaling from the back of your tailbone and exhaling from your pubic bone forward as we open the root center and breathe through your root. Just gently at your own pace, inhaling from the tailbone, exhaling from the pubic bone, with the intention of allowing the root to fully open, blossom, spiral and breathe, and then let go and let it continue to open all on its own. I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness up just a little bit to your belly button, to your sacral center. I invite you to imagine you're breathing through your sacrum, inhaling from the lower back, exhaling from your belly button forward, and feeling the fresh breath of harmony and balance. Just opening, awakening the sacrum. Inhaling from the lower back, exhaling from the belly button. And then letting go, allowing it to breathe and open and expand all on its own. I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness up to your core, your midsection, right where the ribs begin to fan apart. I'm going to invite you to start breathing through your solar plexus, inhaling from the middle back, exhaling from your core forward, and feeling the fresh breath of ease and effortlessness as peace continues to flow through the body. Inhaling from the middle back, exhaling from your solar plexus forward, and then letting go, allowing your solar plexus to continue to open and stretch and breathe all on its own. We're going to move up to our heart center in the middle of our chest. I'm going to invite you to imagine you're breathing through your heart. Inhaling from the upper middle back, exhaling from your chest forward, and allowing your heart chakra to open and breathe. Feeling the energy of unconditional divine love, beauty, joy. Inhaling from the upper middle back, exhaling from the chest forward, and then letting go. Allowing it to continue to open and blossom and breathe as we bring our awareness to your throat center with the intention of allowing it to open. I invite you to imagine you're breathing through your throat center, inhaling from the back of the neck, exhaling from your throat forward, and feeling the energies and the fresh breath of eloquence, elegance, and self-love. Inhaling from the back of the neck, exhaling from the throat forward, and then letting go, allowing it to continue to breathe and open all on its own. I invite you to bring your awareness up to your mind's eye, in the middle of your forehead, with the intention of awakening and opening, tuning to higher vision. And we're going to breathe through our third eye, Inhaling from the back of your skull, exhaling from your forehead forward. And feeling the fresh breath of clarity. Awakening to revelation. Inhaling from the back of the skull, exhaling from the brow forward. And then letting go. Allowing it to continue to open on its own. I invite you to bring your awareness to your crown at the top of your head. And allow it to open. And on your next inhalation, draw the energy of God's light in through your crown, down along your spine into your hips, where the breath will round forward. And as you exhale, you'll feel it rise up the front of your body and release. You'll feel that breath coming from the highest point you can imagine, from the very heart and the very mind of God. You may notice light tingling and moving in as you inhale. And as you exhale, you'll feel it bless and caress your entire body. Breathing the fresh breath of divine illumination and providential awareness. Inhaling, drawing that breath in through the top of your crown. Exhaling, feeling it rise and release from the crown. And then letting go. And with our intention to allow every morsel and muscle of our physical, emotional, and mental bodies to bathe in the light of creation, of Source. We begin to feel all thoughts and all words evaporating. If our intention is to move higher into the stillness, merged and converged with the divine mind, the energy of your soul. No efforting, no trying, just relaxing as every cycle of breathing becomes fresher, lighter, fuller and deeper. And should at any moment you become distracted, come back to that breath of light, of beauty, inhaling it in through your crown, into your hips, and exhaling. But for now, we let go, resting, relaxing, and rejuvenating in the holy light of stillness. invite you to bring your awareness to your soul star at the top of your energy field, at the North Pole, about 1 meter, maybe 4 or 5 feet above your crown. I just invite you to feel your soul star, that part of your anatomy that lives outside of time and space, that lives outside of the material world. I'm going to invite you on your next inhalation to draw the energy of your soul in through your crown, tingling and traveling down into your hips, rounding forward at your root and returning to your soul star. On your next cycle of breathing, I'm going to invite you to bring your inhalation down to your earth star. First, we'll find it at the South Pole, at the bottom outer edge of your energy field, your earth star, your 10th chakra, where we ground that which comes from the inaudible, invisible as an idea, into time and space, as an experience, as a thing. And we follow the energy of creation, inhaling the energy down from your soul star, through your crown, along your spine, down the backs of your legs to your earth star. Inhaling as it comes up the front of your legs, the front of your body, and returns to your soul star. We are beginning to come back into a lucid state of divine awareness, where we feel oneness with our soul, with God, grounding heaven on earth through us. And on your next breath, I'm going to invite you to imagine you are breathing a light, so soft, so brilliant, so powerful, so magnificent, from the very heart and mind of God, as high as you can imagine, wherever you imagine, that you inhale it, it passes through your soul star, through your crown, down along your spine to your earth star, rounds forward at your toes, rises up the front of your body, and releases back to the infinite light and the glory of God. And as we come back into a lucid state of divine awareness, feeling our oneness with the omniscient, omnipotent magnificence of the universal presence of bliss and goodness, how grateful I am to know that something wonderful is taking place, has taken place, as we commune with spirit, commune with the soul, commune with the eternal frequencies, the eternal energies of ever-expanding good, that which as a rainbow shines the multitude of brilliant colors. Those rainbow colors show up as peace, as beauty, as love, as prosperity, as harmony, as grace. These are the eternal frequencies. We open to them, we ground them as we come back. And slowly and gently, as we open into this field of blessings and blessings, as we ground all of this energy in our total and complete energy field, and remember the truth of who we are, that each and every one of us, created, born in the image and the very likeness of the divine, that there is an eternal spark within you, within me, within each and every one of us that has never been hurt or harmed, and it is alive in all the energy centers, is it alive in the entirety and their interconnectivity of all life. We are one with good. We move into the isness of life. The isness is the nowness, is the brilliance, is the beauty, is the bliss, is the glory, is the nirvana of our true nature. And this is what we allow. We commune with the omnipresence, omnipotence of the omniamorous energy that governs the universe. And slowly and gently, as you bring your awareness to your feet, wiggling your toes, maybe pressing your feet, your ankles, the balls of your feet into the ground, or if you're laying down, just push them forward a little bit, push a little energy into your feet. coming back into a grounded, lucid state of peaceful, holy, divine awareness. And when you're ready, we open our eyes in deep and abiding gratitude, knowing that I am, you are, we are, God is, and so it is. Amen. All right, Soul Center. We have just completed our stillness meditation. We're getting ready to move into our music and message service. That starts in just about 2.5 minutes. So if you need to use the restroom, now's the good time. We're going to set up, and we will see you in about 2.
Good morning, Soul Center. It is my honor and joy to be with you this morning, welcoming all you beautiful, perfect, amazing emanations of God, and hope you all had a really lovely New Year's. Different, I know, but beautiful nonetheless. And because this is the 1st of January, we are celebrating Anniversary Month. And it is, really something to go back and think. It's our 7th anniversary. That's big. It's going to get bigger over time, but we really want to acknowledge, how valuable these last 7 years have been for lots of us, most of us. And I also want to really take a moment and acknowledge Reverend Keith and Jerome for having us here in their studio at Home and Garden, week after week after week, and being just so beautiful to work with and making sure everything runs smoothly. So I really want to thank you guys. I know it's a lot, and just totally appreciate it. You make it possible. And I also want to take a minute and acknowledge Jessica Susalik, who really is the one who caught the vision to start an Agape Spiritual Center in Orange County. And she had to convince me. It wasn't too hard, but it took some. And I really acknowledge catching that vision and being willing to put it all together. And it has been a wonderful journey. And we thank you, the community, for participating with us. It wouldn't be the same at all, obviously. But it's been such a beautiful, beautiful ride in consciousness and a beautiful family. So thank you. And thank you, Reverend Keith and Jerome and Jessica. And as always, we have a few announcements. It's not a long list today, but we're starting January off beautifully with a prayer class starting this next Wednesday, January 6th. It's offered by Agape practitioner Janet Dione, who's just such a beautiful, beautiful teacher and facilitator. And this is required for our prayer chaplaincy program at Soul Center, so make a note of that. And the information is on our website to register. Hope to see you on Wednesday. Also, if you are looking for any kind of support or have a prayer request, please email us at info@soulcenteroc.com. We're here. We have a team of prayer chaplains ready to support you and love you and lift you. So we invite you to take advantage of that, and let's all have, more prayer in our year 2021. And our soul circles are beautiful. If you just miss hanging with some like-minded friends, let us know. Just email info@soulcenteroc.com also for that, and we'll get you in the right circle that's right for you. Do not, however, forget Reverend Keith's every morning at 9:30 a.m. affirmative prayer call, daily affirmative prayer call. It is gorgeous. It's on Facebook Live, and it's just a beautiful community. And I love all the people I'm having a chance to get to know in there. They're also beautiful. Thank you for joining us there and participating and bringing your consciousness to our daily prayer call and our Course in Miracles study group with Akili Beckwith on Tuesday nights starts the course over this year from, the first chapter in the text and the first lessons in the workbook. It's a beautiful time to start. Information on our website, and if you want to stay up to date on these things, just sign up for our newsletter. That's how we keep you all informed. And it is my honor now to invite Jerome up to do our reading.
Good morning, everyone. Our reading this morning is from Reverend Michael. Beloved community, loving greetings to you, and may 2021 usher in a rush of enthusiasm for the fulfillment of life's, Spirit's vision of your life. As you intuitively catch and follow Spirit's inner guidance, may you enter a profound evolutionary era on your life path. Spirit lives at the very heart and soul of each one of us, yearning to fully realize itself as us, which is why we have the inner urge to seek and come home to our true self. Remember, your heart sets and mindsets are the mechanisms of empowerment in all your life structures. Nurture them. Nourish them by diving deeply into the reservoir of consciousness through your spiritual practices of affirmative prayer, meditation, life visioning, and generosity of heart. Daily enter the sanctuary of your soul so that you may touch the exquisite presence of your being. After all, doesn't your relationship with the divine deserve 1/24th of your conscious attention each day? My prayer for you is that you realize the deep joy, unconditional love, peace, and creativity that is your spiritual inheritance. Let us pray with Reverend Keith.
Thank you, Jerome. So good morning, Soul Center. Once again, welcome to our Sunday service. We're going to move into the prayer field. I'm Reverend Keith, and I'm welcoming you to our prayer time, our evocation, and moving into our spiritual inheritance. As Reverend Michael said, I'm going to invite you to join me as we tune and turn within right now. Right now, deeper and higher than ever before. How grateful I am that each of us is just taking this moment to effortlessly, elegantly, brilliantly, beautifully delve into the highest realms and the deepest depths of exquisite, resplendent magnificence. That we can just stop at any moment and return home. Home to the heart, to the mind, to the light, to the love of God. We open and we remember and recognize that there is a brilliance that undergirds all life. It is bliss, it is nirvana. We open to that and we allow ourselves to remember the great remembering that each of us, each and every one of us, without fail, is born in the image and the very likeness from the very heart and the very mind of God. We are one with this. And we remember that beyond our name, age, race, religion, gender, labels, titles, accolades, diplomas, beyond any of that, as wonderful as those things are, There's a divine spark of light that has never been hurt or harmed, and we open to that, and we allow ourselves to be filled and thrilled with that knowingness and that isness, the isness of the allness of the kingdom of heaven that is always with us. And we remember, as we steep and step into a greater and grander experience and expression of this, as we allow our toes and our nose and everywhere in between to feel the thrilling, soft, gentle, powerful, peaceful magnificence of our own divine light. As we feel into that, as we allow ourselves to be so radiant and resplendent with the light of God, we know that we are to bless everything and everyone. Always. This is the very nature of life, the very nature of you, the very nature of me, the very nature of we. God is only and always radiating goodness, blessings everywhere. And so we take this time to bless this service, knowing something wonderful is taking place that is lifting us in the most elegant and benevolent expression of our human evolution. I bless each and every one of you streaming in right now, right where you are. Prosperity is, wellness is, goodness is. It is there right now. We don't have to seek it or find it or get it. It is right where we are. We realize it. We embrace it. We know it. We energize it. We activate it. And so I am blessing each and every one of you with so much magnificence, so much harmony, that this new year in time and space is downloaded with so much eternal energy that you don't know the difference. So I'm blessing all of this. We don't know the difference between bliss, grace, beauty, joy. We just allow it to radiate so that we may enjoy this fruitful, magnificent journey in the most benevolent and beautiful ways. We bless all of our friends, all of our family members, those on our prayer list. We bless the music, we bless this service, the message, we bless everything and everyone, and we let it be good, knowing it so, claiming it so, allowing it to be so, grounding it so by saying, so be it. Amen. All right, we're getting ready for our affirmations.
I'll do our Agape affirmation as a call and response, speaking a line, and then you'll repeat it back together. God is the omni-activity of my life.
God is the omni-activity of my life.
I sit in trust, I stand in trust, and I raise in wholeness.
I sit in trust, I stand in trust, and I rise in wholeness.
All the good of God comes forth from the center of my being.
All the good of God comes forth from the center of my being.
Love is my life's work, and I embrace it fully.
Love is my life's work, and I embrace it fully.
My body temple takes on the shape of spiritual beauty and absolute wholeness.
My body temple takes on the shape of spiritual beauty and absolute wholeness.
I am an ambassador for peace and a world that works for everyone.
I am an ambassador for peace and a world that works for everyone.
I believe, I receive, and I am grateful, and so it is. Amen.
I believe, I receive, and I am grateful, and so it is. Amen. So it's time for our music this morning, and we're so excited to have Tyler Conte back with us, and of course Brian Sherrick on keys, Jesse Godoy on guitar. So welcome.
Good morning, Soul Center. So nice to be with you again. Happy New Year. And what a year it was, and what a year this year is going to be. It already is. I want you guys to, if you're in your house right now, you're out on your porch, in your backyard, wherever you are, just feel into this music and soak this in as we bring in the new year in a really, really positive way. I think some big changes are coming. So this song is called As by Stevie Wonder.
1, 2, 3, and
'cause all it's born is new to what I say is true. I'll be loving you always until the rainbow burns the stars out of the sky, until the ocean covers every mountain high, until the dolphin flies and parrots live at sea, until the lake of life and life becomes a dream. Did you know that true love asks for nothing? Her acceptance is the way we pay. And did you know life has given love a guarantee to last forever and another day? Yeah. Just as time will to move on since the beginning, and the seasons know exactly when to change. Just as kindness knows no shame, know through all your joy and pain, then I'll be loving you always. As the day I know I'm living by tomorrow could make me the past that I mustn't fear. For I know deep in my mind the love I've left behind, 'cause I'll be loving you always until the rainbow burns the stars out of the sky, until the ocean covers every mountain high, and until the dolphin flies and parrots live at sea, until we dream of life and life becomes a dream. Until the rainbow burns the stars out of the sky, until the ocean covers every mountain high, until the dolphin flies and parrots live at sea, until we dream of life and life becomes a
Nice.
Thank you. Woo.
Oh, how awesome was that, Soul Center? Good morning. I'm Reverend Keith. I'm welcoming you to another magnificent day. Happy New Year, happy anniversary, and thank you so much to Tyler, Brian, and Jesse. They rock like we rock. Our center rocks. You rock, and we're getting ready to rock and roll with our Sunday service, which means, what is a Sunday service all about? Our Sunday service is about evolving into a greater and grander experience of who you truly are, who we truly are, and knowing that community is an integral part of spiritual evolution. Because we are not just isolated beings. Ironically, this year we've been asked to isolate, well, this last year into this year, asked to isolate to a degree. And some people were very uncomfortable and found it a little too much, too isolating. And this is what we want to do. We want to get comfortable with this. We want to allow us, not comfortable with the pandemic, comfortable with being isolated with the divine, being more in communion with the divine. We are part of the Agape Association of Communities, an affiliate of the Agape International Spiritual Center, which means we're part of the New Thought Ageless Wisdom teachings that mean we honor the laws and the principles of mysticism, that which governs the universe. We honor the laws of life and brilliance and goodness, and we allow ourselves to grow, to evolve in benevolent and beautiful ways. That is what we're here to do, whether you know it or you don't, and all of us share a common destiny. Our destiny is to rise into the greatest, grandest vision and version of wholeness without fail. It's gonna happen. Now, whether you enjoy it or not, that's what our spiritual community is about. That's what our spiritual practice is about. And that's why I'm here today to welcome you to our new year, our new month, our 7th anniversary, as we're getting ready to rock and roll. I know sometimes you can't see what's germinating in the seed until it cracks open. And so we are germinating into something right now, getting ready to crack open and blossom. And that cracking might take a moment. It might take a minute. Enjoying where you are in the journey of growth and expansion is a spiritual ideal and expression that we want to really be bold and behold. You know, we've all heard the cliche to enjoy the journey, but even enjoying the journey in the difficult times, because the difficult times are getting us to grow. They're asking us to expand. They're asking us to grow into a greater experience of our goodness. So the theme of the month is honoring the journey. Honoring the journey. And when you honor, which means you bring a sense of reverence, you bring a sense of sincerity and conviction, and in this case it would be an awareness of the divine, awareness of God, that allows us to truly honor the good back of all life. And so sometimes we get to crossroads, or sometimes we get to a place, as the topic for today would tell us, we get to a place where we have to cross the bridge, crossing the bridge from the mundane to the miraculous. And what is the mundane? The mundane is when things become rote, they become stale, they actually even sometimes begin to rot. And we know that we are a community that says yes to living in the freshness. That we're going to say yes as we come to that bridge, and we're going to go, all right, it's time to cross over into the next great experience of who we truly are. And that's all that's ever going to happen in the human experience until we're completely enlightened. And in that journey, we'll get to that bridge, and we're going to say yes. We're not going to turn around and go, oh no, I don't want to go to my great and grand. I want to just turn around and go to my old and mold. I want to say yes to a great and grand experience. And we don't want to get mesmerized or fooled and live meretriciously, which means that we see things that look good at face value, but they have no substance. They have no quality. That is not what we are. We are not a community that lives meretriciously into a place where we see the shiny things and the baubles, and we get sucked into, keeping up with the Joneses. Now, there are certain things, nothing wrong with wanting a nice house and a nice car and all of that. But our spiritual practice is what keeps us on point. It keeps us on track to go from glory to greater glory and make sure that we don't get mesmerized by things, even things that end up cropping up in our lives that keep us tied. Now, remember that in this life journey, everything is about transcending fear. Fear is the thing. Fear is what will keep you in mediocrity. It will keep you in pain. It will keep you in suffering. And we do not want to normalize fear. We do not want to normalize it in any way, shape, and form. We want to burst through it. And if you want to burst through your fear, so right now, if you had a fear of maybe arachnophobia, maybe you had a fear of heights, maybe you had a fear of confrontation, coming up in front of somebody and talking to them about something, as I used to have. Maybe you have a fear of, as I used to have when I was back in my corporate job. Every year for 10 years, every year like clockwork, I'd be like, I'm out of here. I'm moving on to something else. And then that voice of fear would creep into my mind, and it would start telling me, sometimes just in a feeling tone without words, and sometimes with words, oh, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, nobody's going to hire you. These are the bounds and the ties of fear that keep us from moving on. And we must cross the bridge. We must say, okay, here it is. Now this is what separates us from the proletariat, as a friend of mine would call it, meaning the people that just kind of settle for the mediocre. What separates us in our spiritual practice is that we say, I am going to confront my fears, and I am going to do it with God, because God will bring grace. And then I'll look at that fear, and all of a sudden, there will be something that will come over me, and I will feel invincible with the power and the presence of God, of my soul, of my true nature, because fear only exists in the personality. Fear only exists as a temporal energy, and it shows up. It shows up as anger. It shows up as frustration. It shows up as guilt and shame and worthiness. Years ago, I was working with somebody who was in a very similar situation to what I had been going through, working in a company where he was, couldn't get out of it. And he got into this mediocre pattern. And he had also gotten himself, this was, I don't know how long ago, at least 10, 12, something along those lines, years ago, somewhere around when the recession was taking place. And he had all of a sudden incurred a mountain of debt. There was so much debt, and this was what brought him to move into a spiritual practice, because crisis has gotten to the point where he was, for so many years, he didn't follow the call of his heart and soul, which led him to stay stagnant and stale in a place that he didn't want to be. And then all of a sudden that ended up in being a whole bunch of debt that piled up. And so he came and he wanted to cleanse his debt. He wanted to commune with his passion. And his original intent is, I just want to be prosperous. I just want to have money. And we know that money and prosperity can oftentimes, if not all the time, be tied to a worthiness. And as we dug deeper in, we found that worthiness component in his subconscious. And when we started to undo the worthiness, and we brought in the intention of allowing himself to be debt-free. That was the intention. I'm going to be prosperous, profitable, successful, and debt-free. So as we went down and we did the inner work and we were cleansing out some of the shaming and the blaming that had happened in his childhood, and with the conviction, I'm going to highlight, I'm going to bold, I'm going to underscore the conviction to which he was desiring to rise into his true, magnificent, and prosperous nature. Now we know that God is absolutely the source and supply of all good all the time. We know that the universe holds nothing back. The universe doesn't go, well, I don't know if you're ready for this. Well, I don't think you deserve it. That is not part of the universal presence. I'm not ready for it only exists in the subconscious of any individual who participates in that kind of erroneous belief. Now, that doesn't make it wrong or bad if I'm not ready. If I'm not ready for something, then I just simply say, I back up a step, my choice is to be ready. And so as we started looking, he had this pattern. He didn't want to look at his checkbook. He didn't want to look at his accounts. He was doing that thing, I don't know if you've ever met somebody, where they just charge things and they just think, oh, it'll all get taken care of later. That's how the pattern showed up as the mountains of debt in his life. But when we decided to say, okay, we're going to move into worthiness. We're going to go in and we're going to know God is my source and my supply. We're going to move in and we're going to do as Joel Goldsmith would tell us, one of the forefathers of our ageless wisdom, new thought movement. He would say that no one is going to appreciate truth except to the proportion that they hunger and thirst for it. When you're hungry and when you thirst for the truth of prosperity, of love, of harmony, of peace, of self-love, when you hunger and thirst for it, which is where we got, and all of a sudden it became important. It became important to him, and then all of a sudden a new job showed up, a new opportunity with better benefits and better employment, with kinder people, because we started putting into the equation, what is it that you're really looking for? And I want to highlight what is real, capital R, real. The reality of the universe is that infinite supply is yours should you choose to transmute that which would keep you from it and embrace your birthright and your inheritance, as Reverend Michael said in his message. We wanted our spiritual inheritance of our magnificence. It includes elegance and ease and harmony and cooperation and prosperity and joy. And we know that prosperity also means wellness and kindness. It means a multitude of magnificence in our lives. And so we want to know several things about reality. And if you want to know how to embody the true reality, as we started to do with this gentleman, then you're going to want to ask yourself 3 important questions. What do I really want to know? In our meditation time, in our contemplation time, what do I really want to know? What do I really want to, what is my real desire? What are my real desire? The question is, what do we really desire? What do I really want to know? What do I really desire? And we also want to know, what do you really want to get out of it? What do you want to get out of it? So, for example, there was a woman I had been working with, and she had been dating, and she was on the online scene and doing this and that through Match and through all the other ones. I don't know. She was on several, actually. And she was playing the field for a while. And she came and said, I want to get married. I want to get married. I want to meet my soulmate. And I said, okay, but what do you really want? So I want to get married. No. So we had to go into a meditative state. And I said, what do you really want? What does marriage mean to you? And as we went deeper, we started to get to a place where it meant safety. So what you're really looking for is safety, because this man, this soulmate, was going to fill in aspects of her beingness that allowed her to feel. So we uncovered some things that most people are looking for, but in this case, she was looking for someone who's going to take care of her financially and physically. And so we needed to know, well, what? Take care of me, where God is your source and your supply, not this gentleman, as wonderful as that is. So we had to start reframing and redefining what it is. And so when we found out that safety was what she's really after, then we had to heal the things that made her feel unsafe. And some of that went back to childhood with her parents and things of that nature where they were blaming and shaming. And, sometimes that happens. And you cleanse and clear that, because again, coming back to worthiness, we need to know within ourselves that God through and as me is living in this world. And then we get to a place where, now what does a true soulmate relationship mean? We started to define that. What does that really look like? It's an adventure partner. It's somebody you co-create. It's somebody who's part of your soul family, your soul cluster, that is going to be part of the equation, because none of us are to do all of this on our own. Now, that doesn't mean we all have to have the traditional package of a soulmate relationship where you get married or something. Sometimes that soulmate relationship is your BFF. Sometimes you have multiple people that coagulate around as a soulmate relationship, whatever it is. But we want to make sure that our spiritual practice becomes something that cultivates us. There's a Canadian philosopher from way, way back in the 20th century, not that long ago, and he said, we build the tools and then the tools build us. We build the tools, meaning we build our spiritual practice, and then our practice will build us. We move into a place, so something as wonderful as setting up a practice where I've got my prayer partner on a regular basis, where I set up my practice, I build the tools of my meditation practice, of my visioning practice, of taking a beautiful salt bath. I just did this last night. A beautiful salt bath, and I had the candles, and I had the soft meditation music on, and I'm just literally steeping in the bath salts. I always want to use sea salt or Himalayan salts. Those help detox the body. and then listening, and then just going deep within. You're covering a lot of ground in something like that because your body is relaxing. So you're creating the tools, and then the tools that we build will then help build us. Something as simple as that. Going out in nature and hiking, that's the tool you're building, is you're getting out and you're doing something. You're exercising, but you're communing. And the reason that people love nature so much is because negative ions are out there that hold the presence of the divine, that make it easier to calm down. But the tool you're going to want to build, because I can't tell you how many times when I go hiking, I'll see people and they've got their music blasting and they're hiking or power walking, and they're not paying doodly squat attention to what's going on around them. The beauty of the plants and the flowers and the clouds and nature's serene vibration. Nature is one of the keys that takes us into communion with God. So if you really want to meditate and make it a little easier on yourself, find a place in nature that's quiet, and it'll just suck you into a deep meditation. And then you're going to want to contemplate. As I mentioned earlier, what do you really want to know about any given situation? If you're yearning something in your life, what do you really want to know about it? And what do you really desire? Get into the capital R. What are you really looking for? And this takes an introspective look. We want to move in and allow ourselves to go deep within. And what am I really looking for? You've heard me say this a few times before in the past, the difference between a desire and a want. A want is something generally superficial. A desire comes, capital D desire. There's lowercase d desires that more associated with a want, but a capital D desire comes from your soul. It's what your soul, it comes from the law of emergence, that what your soul is seeking to emerge. And as we're moving into this new year, and we know in our spiritual community, every day is the beginning of a new year. And so, but as we're going to ride the wave, because you know I'm a spiritual opportunist, and there's such a wave of new year, freshness, new opportunity, but it is our spiritual practice that will allow it to be fresh and new. Because if you bring stale and old into the future, you're going to get more stale and old. So we want to make sure that we build the tools that then build us into a greater and grander experience. That means we're reading the books by some of the magnificents. For those of you who are taking the prayer class, and I invite you to all take it, even if you think, oh, I know all about fervent prayer, then you want to get in that class. I had a friend, she's the most magnificent writer in the world. And she takes writing classes not to learn how to write, but to steep in the vibration, because it would just stimulate her creative expression. So she's not learning grammar or syntax or whatever it is that you learn, how to set up a novel. She already knows all of that. But in the class, there's some books you're going to order for the class, and so I invite you to order the books before class starts on Wednesday, and one of them is the Science of Mind textbooks. That's what Janet is recommending that you take. Have the Science of Mind and Spiritual Liberation are part of the recommended reading. Those are part of the recommended reading not only for the class, but for your spiritual journey. I invite you to dive in. Part of the tools that you build that will build you, build the tool, buy a book. Build the tool, get in the bathtub. Build the tool, go on the hike. But make sure the intention is that you're looking for what you really want. What do you really want to know? Where do you really want to go? What's seeking to rise up and emerge through you? And make sure that we begin to unweave ourselves out of the web of the temporal or the carnal world. That we don't get mesmerized and start to participate meretriciously in things that look good from the outside, but when you really look inside, they're just empty, stale, empty calories. And so an example that I was going to get to a moment ago is that sometimes we're craving something sweet. We want that big piece of chocolate cake. We want that croissant. We want whatever it is that your go-to. And really what you're looking for is sweetness in life. And what is the sweetness you're really looking for? What's the sweetness in life you're really looking for? And then you contemplate it. And if you want to put an end to that sweet tooth, And you don't have to get rid of it altogether, but you do want to segue over to, maybe some raw desserts, ones that don't have empty calories. But we're getting rid of the empty calories in our consciousness as we move into this new year. So we want to find out, what is the sweetness I'm really looking for? And, in this one case with this one woman, part of the sweetness she was looking for was sacred and sincere. Part of the safety which she was looking for is that she would be loved just for who she was. That's a sweetness that you're looking for in life, where you can be you, meaning that even, and for those of us on our spiritual path, which is all of you who are turning in right now, we're moving into that space where we're allowing ourselves to know that we are not our personality. And when somebody anchors into that statement that we hear all the time, I have to speak my truth. You're awful. Okay, that's lowercase t truth, and that does not exist in the mind of God. There is no you're awful in the mind of God. There's no criticism or my truth is I'm just so angry right now. That's lowercase t truth. That's temporal, carnal, and oftentimes speaking my truth is tied to lack, limitation, pain, struggle, and strife. I want to speak the truth. I want to speak my soul's truth. I want to speak God's truth. That's going to take you to your sweetness, to the sweet spot of your magnificence. So that's the truth we're really after. Now, sometimes when we speak our truth, we have to put it in perspective. We have to put it in alignment. Where it's like, I'm afraid right now. I'm afraid right now. I'm afraid to cross the bridge, to go from the mundane into the miraculous. I'm just afraid. And so we stop. And when we're in lowercase t truth, we then grab and we allow ourselves to rise to capital T truth. And so we ask and we invite and we evoke those energies. And then they start to build us. And as this gentleman started to tackle his worthiness issues, and then all of a sudden opportunities started coming out of nowhere, we got to a place where he had planned. So there was all multiple credit cards, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but sometimes on the credit card bill, it'll say, if you are going to pay off this balance at the minimum every month, it's going to take you 20 years, and you're going to end up paying like $50,000 in interest. Or if you pay this amount over 3 years, it's significantly better, blah, blah, blah. So he had decided that he was going to start, and he was going to look. He didn't even know to the degree to what the debt was, what the problems were in his financial situation. And so he got it out and looked at everything and enumerated everything and then said, okay, I want to be debt-free. I want to be debt-free within a year. But he started with, okay, I'm going to start paying the one that says I can be debt-free in 3 years on several credit cards. So that's where we started. That's where we started. We started to build the tools so that the tools can then build us. And we started to invite, evoke, and allow. Now here's the difference between the temporal, carnal, practical way and the mystical way. The way of the mystic, the way of the being spiritualized and mysticized. And as Joel Goldsmith would remind us, to get into the isness. Isness is the absolute. There is no debt in the divine. There is no worthiness, worthlessness in the divine. There is only immediate, immaculate, infinite supply of all good all the time. So as we move into the isness of our own beingness, that means your good is with you, and only to the degree that you deny it or resist it does it elude you. And as soon as you start saying, yes, show me what it is that I really want, and then it will reveal its secrets. It will reveal its secrets. So we started with paying off just the one to get it in 3 years, and lo and behold, one thing led to another, and it was a year and a half, maybe a little shy of a year and a half, and boom, he was done. He was debt-free because of the spiritual aspect of the growth. Now, if I had done it just practically, I would have created my budget, and I would have enumerated things, and I would have been diligent, and I probably would have felt a little bit of deprivation. Deprivation is a sure way to know that failure is imminent. We don't want to deprive ourselves. We want to inspire ourselves. And he became more and more inspired as he went on to be absolutely liberated and knowing God was his source and his supply. And I'm not going to go into the details because we're coming up on completion of this talk. But one thing led to another, and all these serendipitous and miraculous things that built self-worth and the knowingness of infinite supply. And the woman I was talking about, as we started to build that self-worth, and we transmuted the illusion of needing someone to make her safe, because I'm just, I think I mentioned this last week, but there's a wonderful movie on Disney Plus, Godmother, and what is so good at the very end, this spoiler alert, is they're reframing the old paradigm. They're reframing the old paradigm where, the woman has to put on the pretty dress and then the Prince Charming will come and save her from whatever it is to be saved. And now we know, it's so wonderful at the end where they're saying, no, you're in charge of your life and you'll bring forward. So really good, funny movie, really cute. I highly, I recommend it. But that's just a sidebar. But this was actually being lived in these people's experiences where you live and it's like, when you find what you really want. So in conclusion, I'm going to say that you want to contemplate this week, as many of you have probably set intentions or resolutions for the coming year. Whatever your resolutions are, whatever your intentions are, I'm going to beg that you ask the question, what do you really want to know about this? What is your real desire about this? What do you really desire? And what do you want to get out of it? What do you want to get out of it? What's in it for you? This is where you get to practice spiritual selfishness. What's in it for you? Those are the three questions I'm going to leave you with, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to take those three questions into our prayer time. We're going to go ahead, we're going to move into the prayer field, and we're going to allow ourselves to let go of meretricious living, being mesmerized by the baubles of the temporal world, and we're going to return home. We're going to return home to the inner light of our divine self, to the core of the real reality. We're going to take a moment in deep and abiding gratitude, knowing that it is God's good pleasure to only and always, it is its nature to only and always bring forward the kingdom of heaven. It is not God's good pleasure to once in a while. It is God's good pleasure 24/7 throughout all eternity, for God only expresses as beauty, as love, as infinite source and supply, as confidence, as worthiness, as brilliance. We open to that, knowing and remembering that each and every one of us, that you, that me, that we are one with the holy light. We are one into the isness and the allness of all good. We take a moment and we choose to remember that as radiant vitality in our body temples, in our emotional body, in our mental body, in our body of affairs, in all relationships. I'm truly grateful to know that as we remember that beyond any of the labels, trappings, any of the baubles, beyond anything of the temporal world of the personality, that there is a divine spark within you that is already a master, is already enlightened, already has every answer to every question you could possibly ever choose to know, and it has and houses the desire of your soul. And so we move into this field with the question, what is it that I really desire? What is it that I really want to know? What is it that I really am seeking to experience and get out of this? And as we pose these questions in the prayer field and remember the truth of our oneness and our wholeness with God, that we, divine ambassadors, harbingers of messengers of the truth, avatars, just as magnificent as any sage, remembering as Jesus the Master, who earned his title as the Christ in nature. These and greater things ye shall do, we shall do it now. And as we move into this new year, into the new freshness of what it the temporal calendar can suggest, we're going to use it and move and groove into the behoovedness of life. We're going to move into the behoove groove once again even more. We're going to go deeper and higher as we invite, evoke, and allow that magnificence that we may always be inspired and enthusiasted by inspiration, by divine illumination. This is what we allow. We say yes to this, and I'm grateful to know that each and every one of us, without fail, has everything wired, coded, loaded within your bones, within your beingness, within your veins, within your DNA. You have everything you need to receive the sweetness of life, the sweetness that you are truly looking for. Allowing God to flow, glow, and have its way to, through, and as your beingness, for as we are microcosmic expressions of the Most High, we are here to experience heaven on earth, and we are here to bless everything and everyone. And so as we hold into this space of spiritual selfishness, allowing ourselves to ground heaven on earth, peace on earth, love on earth, wellness on earth, goodness on earth, we let it ripple and roll into the collective, knowing we are not separate from anything or anyone. We are one with it, but we choose to know our oneness as the isness of the absolute. The absolute. We move into that field and we ground it unwaveringly with full faith and full optimism. And so we bless our family members and friends. We bless everybody who is on our prayer lists right now. We give thanks for the answered prayers. The answered prayers, we know that many in our congregation have received such beautiful blessings that have come forward. And so we are grateful for that, and we are grateful to know that each of you on our prayer list right now, we are holding our chaplains, our congregations. Wholeness, magnificence, brilliance, beauty is right where you are right now. And so I'm grateful to allow all of this to be. As we have invited it, evoked it, and allowed it, we ground it. We bring the eternal into time and space, and we ground it in our bones, in our cells and tissues, to our earth star. We let it be in deep and abiding appreciation, knowing it is already done in the mind of God. We ground it so, we claim it so, we allow it to be so, and so it is, and so we let it be, and so I let it be. Amen, 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 ashe, aho, mahalo, shalom, hotep, and hallelujah. All right. Thank you. A little clapping over here. I'm going to move over here, and we're going to bring up, because it is now our time for tithing. This is where we participate. We participate in the overflowing abundance, and whether it's $1, $100, or $1,000, or $10,000, none of that makes a difference to the divine. The divine doesn't know a difference between that, but we are moving into knowing that same embodiment, and tithing is one of the most beautiful ways that we can raise our vibration into financial freedom. So I'm going to just begin with a thanksgiving for all of those who have been continuing to support our community and knowing the importance of what our community is and brings. We're all growing together as I rise, you rise, as you rise, we rise. We are all rising, and you can go ahead right now and you can tithe either by texting to area code 669-342-2157, which is on the screen right there. The word give, you got to type the word give to area code 669-342-2157. You can go to the soulcenteroc.com website, and you can hit the donate button, that big orange button towards the bottom of the screen on the right side. You can find our temporal address, the one that we sometimes refer to as the snail mail address, and you can send a check there if you'd like to, whatever feels good and right to you. We are truly grateful. We're getting ready to birth into a new paradigm. Happy anniversary, 7 years of Soul Center, and we're just getting started. I got to tell you, we've hit some milestones along the way here with our prayer chaplaincy program that's just getting started. So thank you for tithing, and I'm going to invite the boys back in, Tyler, Brian, and Jesse, for our next inspirational song.
Thank you, Rev. That was amazing. Well, so nice to be with you guys, with you all again here. So this next song we're gonna do is by Desiree, and it's called "You Gotta Be." I think I might have sang it here before, but I love singing this song because it's just such a good reminder of how we all have to just keep being strong and tough and make it through these difficult times that we're in. So hopefully this inspires you. Get up and dance with me if you can, and move your body, okay?
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3,
Listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Others, they may cause you fears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted, don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, got to be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stick together. All I know is love saved the day. Hell, what your mama said, read the book your father read. Try to solve the puzzles in your own sweet time. Some might have more cash than you, others take a different view. My, oh my, yeah. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, got to be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stick together. All I know is love saved the day. Time has no questions, it goes on without you, leaving you behind. You can't face the pain. The world keeps on spinning, can't stop it if you try to. The best part is they just staring you in the face. Oh, listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Others, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. My, oh my, yeah. You gotta be cool, you gotta be hard, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, got to be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stick together. All I know is love saved the day. Come on. To be wise, you got to be hard, you got to be tough, oh babe. Oh, I know. You got to be wise, you got to be wise. So all I know is love will save the day.
Oh, thank you, Tyler, Jesse, Brian. Awesome. I love you all. So grateful. We're getting ready to close out our service. But before we do, we're going to do what we do, and we're going to bless the offering. So I'm just going to imagine, remember when we were in person and we'd have the ushers come forward and hold the baskets? So just imagine we got the baskets and they're brimming over, as well as that online giving. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to outstretch our prayers through our hearts and our hands. We take a moment and we give thanks, knowing that God, Almighty, all good, all brilliant, all love, is everywhere, thriving itself to, through, and as all life. Right now, it's showing up as flowers blossoming in fields, waves crashing on waves, on shores. It's showing up as the brilliance of clouds in the sky and the beauty in our hearts. Each and every one of us is a divine ambassador of the Most High, and we say yes to blessing this offering, knowing that Soul Center has said a mighty yes to bringing forward goodness and wholeness and brilliance and beauty and compassion and grace to everything and everyone in our community. We are growing, getting bigger and better in the glory of God. And we are grateful for this offering. We bless it knowing we continue to expand our own collective and individual understanding that God is our source and our supply of all good, including financial freedom and success. We let it be so, we let it be now, and so it is. Amen. All right, Soul Center. We're getting ready for our peace song, which means if there's anybody you want to grab from another room, a little one that's gone out to take a break or something, invite them back in, and we're going to close with our peace song. Embodied as our divine nature, and so it is. Amen. We love you, Soul Center.